Ever get that feeling, you're like changing things up, trying to eat better, maybe even, working out a bit. And you're just kind of sitting there wondering, is any of this actually working? Like, is my body really burning fat?
Oh, yeah, it's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And without a clear way to know, motivation can totally take a nosedive. You're putting in the work. You deserve to know if it's paying off.
Totally. And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We've got some really interesting ideas to share from this ebook we found. It's called How to Absolutely Positively Know When Your Body is Burning Fat. And it's presented by Apple Poly LLC.
Now, this isn't just another generic weight loss spiel. This is about getting practical, actionable stuff you can use to actually understand what's going on in your body.
Exactly. Think of this as your cheat sheet to some real insider knowledge. We're talking doctor's fat loss secrets here, covering everything from tools you can use right now to like unexpected connections. Like, did you know those annoying cravings you get might actually point to like a need for fat in your body?
It's a deep dive for sure. So let's get down to it. How can you really truly know if your body is burning fat?
All right, let's do it.
One of the first things that caught my eye, this ebook, it actually says that feeling a little hungry when you start a weight loss plan, it can actually be a good thing.
Really? Hunger is good. That's interesting.
Yeah. Think about it. Your body usually uses glucose, from sugars and carbs, for that quick burst of energy. So when you start cutting back on those, your body kind of has to switch gears,
Yeah.
right? It's got to tap into those stored energy reserves and those
These fat reserves.
exactly. So that little pang of hunger, that could be your body flipping the switch going, okay, got to tap into the long-term fuel now.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like telling your body, all right, time to dip into those savings.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where those ketones come into play.
Okay, so ketones, remind me what those are again.
Sure. When your body breaks down fat for energy, it makes these byproducts, and they're called ketones. So if you're burning a good amount of fat, these ketones are going to be hanging out in your urine. You can actually measure them.
And that's what the ebook talks about, these ketone test strips, right?
You got it. They call them an invaluable biofeedback tool, which I really like. You get direct intel on what's happening inside.
Love that. So how do these strips work and what are we looking for?
Simple. You can grab these strips at any pharmacy. You just hold one in your first morning pee, and then you match the color on the strip to a little chart. The goal is to see a subtle color shift that lands in the trace to small range.
So that color change basically confirms you're in fat burning mode. That's pretty cool. No more guessing games.
Exactly. The ebook really emphasizes this. Like, you're in control now. By checking your ketones regularly, you can adjust how many carbs you're eating, tweak your intake of what they call ketogenic foods and supplements. It's like personalized fine-tuning.
Like getting feedback from your body's dashboard. You can actually see which foods help you burn fat and which ones might be slowing you down.
Totally. And that knowledge lets you personalize your diet to stay in that sweet spot for fat burning. But there's a catch, a little warning the ebook gives.
Oh, right. It talks about those ketone readings in the moderate or large ranges. Yeah.
You got it. Those high ketone levels, they could mean you're losing fat too fast, and that can actually stress your body out.
So even though it sounds good to lose fat quickly, it's not always a good thing in the long run.
Right. The ebook explains that rapid weight loss, it's usually not sustainable. Your body can, rebel by slowing down your metabolism. You get up tired and feeling crappy. It also talks about this idea of a weight set point.
Yeah, I've heard that term before, but what does it actually mean?
So our bodies, they kind of like to stay within a certain weight range. It's like an internal thermostat. If you drop weight too quickly, your body hasn't had time to adjust to that new lower set point. It still thinks, hey, we need to be back up there. And that's why so many people gain the weight back.
Makes sense. So you need to give your body time to adapt to a new normal.
Exactly. The ebook suggests that sticking with your new weight for at least 2 years, it helps your body reset that internal thermostat, making it more likely you'll keep the weight off for good.
2 years, wow. Really shows that it's about long-term change, not just a quick fix. So what's a good target for weekly weight loss, according to the ebook?
Most doctors who specialize in weight loss, they agree that losing around 2 pounds a week, that's a safe and effective pace for lasting weight loss.
2 pounds a week, it doesn't sound like much, but it adds up,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Over a year, that's over 100 pounds.
Okay, so we covered the first sign, that initial hunger, and those ketone strips. Now, the ebook gets really intriguing with its second secret. It's called your fat tooth. Now, that sounds interesting.
Right. This section introduces a concept that's mind-blowing, really. It's based on this book, Controlling Your Fat Tooth, by Joseph Piscatella. And the idea is those intense cravings we get for sweets and snacks, especially carbs, they might not be about sugar at all.
Well, what? You're telling me when I reach for that bag of chips, it's not because I want the salty crunch?
Well, it could be. But the ebook argues that sometimes what your body really wants is fat.
Okay, wait. So when I'm craving a cookie, my body might actually be saying it needs more avocado or something.
It's a whole new way of thinking about cravings, right? The ebook explains that when you eat something sweet, you might find yourself wanting more and more. You end up polishing off the whole bag. It's like your body's going, this isn't what I wanted. Where's the fat? It even uses that old Lay's potato chip slogan, bet you can't eat just one, suggesting it might be about that unmet need for fat.
Okay, that's pretty wild. So how do fats actually play a role in this whole craving thing?
Well, dietary fats are key for regulating appetite. When you eat healthy fats, even small amounts, it triggers the release of this hormone in your gut called cholecystokinin, or CCK. And CCK, it goes up to your brain and basically tells you, hey, you're full now, time to stop eating.
So it's like the body's natural off switch for eating.
Exactly. And the ebook suggests that if you're not getting enough healthy fats, you might not produce enough CCK. So you end up overeating, reaching for those sugary snacks, even though what you really need is fat.
That makes so much sense. So what kind of healthy fats should we be eating instead of those sugary snacks when those cravings hit?
The ebook gives a good list. Things like avocados, nuts and seeds, sugar-free peanut butter, and fatty fish like salmon, sardines, trout. All great sources of omega-3s. It also mentions flaxseed oil, butter, and eggs.
Got it. So it's about understanding those cravings and maybe reaching for some healthy fats instead of automatically going for the sweets. Okay, next up, secret number 3. You need to eat more often. Wait, what? I thought the whole point was to eat less.
Right. It seems counterintuitive, but the ebook challenges that common idea head on. It questions the whole, overweight equals eating too much equation. It even mentions studies showing that lots of overweight folks don't actually eat more than thinner people. The problem might be what they're eating and when, and the risk of losing muscle instead of fat when you cut calories drastically without paying attention to fat burning.
That brings us back to those trusty ketone strips, doesn't it? They help you make sure you're losing fat, not muscle.
Precisely. The ebook stresses that if you're losing weight without seeing those ketones, it could mean you're losing muscle mass, and that's not good. We're talking heart muscle, too, which can have serious consequences.
Okay, so it's not about starving yourself. It's about eating the right things more often to help your body stay in fat-burning mode.
That's the gist of it. The ebook suggests having small meals, with lean protein and healthy fats every 2 to 3 hours. This helps keep your energy level stable, prevents those crazy hunger pangs that lead to bad choices, and helps your body consistently use fat for fuel.
So it's all about consistency and not letting yourself get overly hungry.
Yep. And it even gets into the timing of those mini meals. It says we should try to eat before we actually feel those strong hunger signals.
Interesting. Why is that?
The idea is to stay ahead of those intense hunger pangs, because when you get super hungry, it's way harder to resist those unhealthy high-calorie temptations. And that can throw your body out of that fat-burning groove.
Makes sense. So what about eating before bed? The ebook mentions something about lean protein and sleep.
Yeah, it says that having a little lean protein before bed, like some turkey breast, can be helpful. It's because your body releases human growth hormone while you sleep, and that hormone helps build and repair muscle. But if your blood sugar is high at night, it can mess with the release of that hormone.
So a small protein snack before bed could actually help with muscle growth while you sleep. That's pretty cool. Now, let's talk about breakfast. Is it really the most important meal? What does the ebook say?
The ebook is all about breakfast. It even references studies from the National Weight Control Registry, the American Heart Association, and UC Davis, all suggesting that people who eat breakfast regularly tend to have better weight control, eat fewer calories overall, have healthier diets, and even lower their risk of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity.
It even says that skipping breakfast might backfire because people who skip often end up overeating later in the day, right?
Exactly. So what should we be eating for breakfast to set ourselves up for a fat-burning day? The ebook recommends things like protein, omega-3 rich eggs, high-fiber whole grain cereals, but sweetened with fruit, not sugar. Or you could even try fruit juice instead of milk. It also mentions low-carb, high-fiber bread, basically anything that's ketogenic and helps you stay in that fat-burning zone. And if you're using Apple Poly-TM, the ebook suggests taking it with some water about 15 to 30 minutes before breakfast.
All right, protein-rich, lower-carb breakfast. Got it. Next secret. Every day is Thanksgiving. I'm picturing a big plate of turkey right now.
Uh-huh, you got it. The ebook's point here is that you can actually eat a lot of lean protein and still burn fat effectively. Turkey breast is a perfect example. It's like, think of it as Thanksgiving every day when it comes to protein. Just maybe skip the traditional carb-heavy sides.
So lean protein is a fat-burning superstar.
It's essential, that's for sure. The ebook explains that protein is vital for building and repairing muscle tissue, and you got to keep those protein levels up when you're trying to burn fat so you don't lose muscle mass. It also stresses that those super strict low-calorie diets that skimp on protein, they can be a bad idea. Your body might start breaking down muscle for energy, which is easier for it to do than burning fat.
And the body doesn't really store protein the same way it stores carbs or fat, right? So we need to keep replenishing it.
Exactly. It's like constantly providing the building blocks for muscle maintenance and repair. Now, the ebook also explains why protein is considered ketogenic. It takes more energy for your body to digest and process protein compared to carbs or fats. Plus, protein helps slow down how quickly sugar gets absorbed into your bloodstream, which keeps your blood sugar levels more stable, reduces hunger, and encourages your body to use fat for fuel.
So load up on that lean protein. And the ebook has a whole list of good sources, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's got everything from turkey and chicken breast to sirloin steak, whey protein, salmon, tuna packed in water, low-fat cottage cheese, and even swordfish, haddock, lean ground beef, orange roughy, eggs, crab, lobster, shrimp, even buffalo. Plenty of variety to keep things interesting.
All right, lots of good protein options. Now let's talk about something we all know we need more of: water. Secret number 5 is just that: water. Water everywhere. The ebook even calls it a magic potion for permanent weight loss. That's a pretty bold statement.
It is, but the ebook makes a strong case for it. It says that drinking pure water is crucial, not just for health in general, but specifically for burning fat. And when you're actively trying to lose weight, your body needs even more water than when you're maintaining your weight.
And it talks about how important water is for hydration, detoxification, and getting rid of waste products, all essential for healthy weight loss. But what about that water weight gain thing people worry about?
The ebook tackles that head-on, calling it a big myth. It explains that when your body isn't getting enough water consistently, it starts holding on to it. It's like hoarding water. But if you start drinking more regularly, your body gets the message, hey, we're good. No need to hoard anymore. And it starts releasing that excess fluid. This happens pretty quickly, sometimes in just a few days.
Good to know. And the ebook mentions a breakthrough point. What happens when your body reaches this point of good fluid balance?
The ebook says you can get some amazing benefits. Your endocrine glands work better, you retain less fluid, your body gets better at using fat for fuel because your liver isn't working so hard to detoxify everything, and you even feel less hungry. It even mentions a study from Germany where drinking about 2 glasses of water boosted people's metabolic rate by up to 30%.
Wow, just from water. Okay, so how much water should we be aiming for every day?
The ebook recommends 6 to 8 glasses of pure water daily. It also cautions against just drinking more tap water, suggesting that artesian water from a tested source is a better option than distilled water, which it claims can actually strip away essential minerals. It also suggests ditching sugary drinks completely and flavoring your water with lemon or lime if you need a little something extra.
Pure water is key. Got it. Okay. Secret number 6. Your plate is full, but your food may be empty.
Sounds like we're talking about nutrient density, right?
You nailed it. This section dives into that whole issue of our food, well, not being as nutritious as it used to be. The ebook brings up a study by the Health Sciences Institute that compared nutrient levels in fruits and veggies from the 1950s to those same foods today.
Ah.
Big drops in key nutrients. We're talking protein, calcium, phosphorus, iron, riboflavin, and vitamin C, all significantly lower.
Yikes. And the ebook even suggests we might be missing even more nutrients that weren't measured back then, right?
Right, things like magnesium, zinc, vitamin B6, vitamin E, and fiber weren't routinely tracked back then. So it's possible the nutritional loss is even worse than we know. The point is, we can't necessarily rely on our diet alone to get all the nutrients we need anymore.
Which is maybe why the USDA recommends a whopping 13 servings of fruits and veggies every day. It's a lot for most people to manage consistently.
It is, and that's where the ebook suggests considering a good multivitamin and mineral supplement just to cover your bases, you know. It then zooms in on one particular mineral that it calls a weight loss wonder: calcium.
Okay, calcium and weight loss. Don't hear that connection too often. How does that work?
So when your calcium levels are low, your body cranks up the production of parathyroid hormone, or PTH, and vitamin D. And these hormones, they're usually elevated when you're not eating enough, like in a starvation mode. And when your body thinks it's starving, it gets really good at storing fat for later.
Ah, so having enough calcium might actually help prevent your body from going into that fat storing mode.
That's what the ebook is suggesting. It mentions a study from 2005, CU Health Sciences Center, where people who ate more calcium burned more fat for fuel. It also talks about a doctor, Edward Melanson, who noticed a link between the amount of fat people burned and how much calcium they were getting.
And the ebook reminds us that even low-fat cheese can be a good source of calcium. A little 1-inch cube is like a whole cup of milk. It also talks about a study from the University of Tennessee that showed calcium could actually help reduce body fat.
Yeah, that one had some researchers saying the results were shocking, the amount of fat reduction they saw. Another study from the journal Obesity Research showed that people on low-calorie diets who also took calcium supplements lost more weight than those who didn't get extra calcium.
So make sure you're getting enough calcium through food or maybe a supplement like chelated calcium around 1,500 milligrams daily and magnesium about half that amount. That's what the ebook suggests. Good for bone health too, and helps avoid that fat storing mode.
It's about setting your body up for success, basically. Okay, now secret number 7 takes us inside the mind. It's all in your mind. Sounds like we're talking willpower and those pesky cravings.
Right. Got to be strong. Resist temptation.
It does touch on cravings, but it takes a more biochemical approach. The ebook talks about this idea of carbohydrate addiction and how it might be linked to serotonin, that feel-good brain chemical that makes you feel calm and content.
Okay, I'm listening.
So when you eat carbs, it can boost your serotonin levels temporarily, but then that feeling fades and you crave more carbs to get it back. It's like a cycle.
So it's not just about being weak-willed. There might be actual brain chemistry involved. And the ebook mentions a supplement that could help, right? 5-HTP.
Exactly. 5-HTP stands for 5-hydroxytryptophan. And it's basically like giving your brain the ingredients it needs to make serotonin. The ebook suggests that by taking 5-HTP, you might be able to keep your serotonin levels up without needing to rely on those carb-heavy foods for a mood boost. And it points to several studies to back this up.
Tell me about those studies.
Well, one study from the University of Rome found that women who took 500 to 1,000 milligrams of 5-HTP daily ended up eating fewer calories overall and lost an average of about 3 pounds over 5 weeks just by taking the supplement. Right. Then there was another study with obese women on a 1,200-calorie diet. Those who took 900 milligrams of 5-HTP a day lost significantly more weight than those who got a placebo. And get this, they did another part of the study where the women didn't restrict their diets, and the 5-HTP group still lost weight.
That's really interesting. Any other research?
Yeah, a third study with 20 obese women showed that they lost over 7 pounds in 6 weeks on a 1,200-calorie diet, plus 300 milligrams of 5-HTP before meals. Over 12 weeks, the total weight loss for the 5-HTP group was almost 5 times greater than the placebo group. And something the ebook points out is that in these studies, people often said they felt full sooner after eating, even without being on a strict diet.
So 5-HTP might help manage carb cravings and boost weight loss by working on the serotonin pathways and making you feel fuller faster. Any downsides?
The ebook does mention that some people might get a little nauseous, especially at higher doses, like 900 milligrams. They recommend starting slow and gradually increasing the dosage. But overall, it's presented as a safe, natural supplement you can find at most health food stores. It can be helpful for those carb cravings, especially before bed or before meals, and you can even take it long-term for serotonin support.
Really cool how our brain chemistry ties into cravings and eating habits. Okay, secret number 8. You may need chocolate. Now, this is something I can get behind, but I'm guessing it's not just any chocolate, right?
You know it. The ebook acknowledges that we all need a treat now and then, and it actually suggests that dark chocolate, particularly the semi-sweet kind, in moderation, can have some benefits. It mentions that it has certain phytochemicals that are good for circulation and can even make you feel happier.
So milk chocolate's out, dark chocolate's in.
Pretty much. The ebook really emphasizes that too much chocolate, or the wrong kind, can totally sabotage your fat-burning progress. And it recommends sticking to semi-sweet dark chocolate, and even gives a serving size, about 10 semi-sweet baking chocolate chips. It's like using chocolate as medicine for those sweet cravings.
And the key is to savor it, melt it in your mouth, and then put the rest away. No mindless munching. It's about enjoying that small treat so you don't end up binging on something less healthy later.
Exactly. It's strategic indulgence. Now let's switch gears and talk about what to avoid. Secret number 9 is the 16 foods you should never eat if you want to burn fat. I bet we can guess a few of these.
Ice cream, donuts.
Bingo. The list includes ice cream, fried foods, donuts, pastries, cakes, pies, sugary candies, soda, sugary fruit drinks, potato chips, white bread, cookies, sausage, sugary cereals, fast food, beer, mixed drinks, honey, and corn syrup.
The usual suspects, but the ebook really emphasizes cutting back on sugar as the most important step for fat burning, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sugar is sneaky, hiding in so many processed foods. You got to check those labels.
Yeah.
It even gives the example of a can of Coke having almost 10 teaspoons of sugar. And the average American eats a whopping 53 teaspoons of sugar every day.
That's insane. And it talks about how kids are drinking way too much soda, and that's linked to the rise in childhood obesity.
Yeah, it's a big problem. But the ebook does say that your taste buds can change over time. It even tells a story about someone who learned to love Diet Mug root beer. So there's hope.
Okay, so ditch the sugar. On a more positive note, secret number 10 is the big list of ketogenic fat-burning foods. I need a copy of this list.
It's super helpful. It's all about those foods that actually help your body burn fat. It even mentions negative calorie foods, which are supposed to take more energy to digest than they actually provide in calories.
Cool. So what's on this list?
It's divided into 2 categories: no carb, trace carb, fat-burning foods, and minimal carb, nutrient-dense fat-burning foods. In the no carb, trace carb category, you've got your lean protein sources like turkey breast, chicken breast without skin, salmon, lean ham, flounder, and healthy fats like flaxseed oil and virgin olive oil. Tea and coffee, no sugar or high-fat milk are on there too. Then you've got lean beef, trout, lean pork, lobster, whey protein, prime rib, filet mignon, tuna in water, lamb, shrimp, mustard, black pepper, NutraSweet, even buffalo.
Wow, that's a lot of options.
And that's just the no-carb category. In the minimal carb category, you've got all sorts of veggies like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, mushroom, celery, peppers, onions, white cheese, some fruits like apricots and fresh cherries, and other nutrient-packed stuff like nuts, oysters, beets, carrots, lettuce, kale, asparagus, pickles, olives, Brussels sprouts, flax seeds, apples, blueberries, blackberries, and oranges.
Okay, that is a comprehensive list.
Right. And then the ebook has 5 more fat-burning food tips. It talks about drinking green tea, eating grapefruit with meals, but watch out for interactions with medications, adding apples and pears to your diet, spicing things up with hot peppers, and enjoying some oatmeal.
Oatmeal, isn't that a carb?
Yeah, but it's a good carb. The ebook recommends steel-cut or rolled oats, not too much, and sweetened with fruit, not sugar. Good for cholesterol and keeps you feeling full. All right, last but not least, secret number 11 is baby apple skins and belly fat. The ebook calls it a secret that even the doctors don't know about yet.
Ooh, intriguing. What's this about?
So it talks about this research from Japan where scientists fed extracts from baby apple skins to lab animals, and those animals lost organ fat and got stronger.
Organ fat, that's the stuff around your organs, right?
Right.
That's the really dangerous kind.
Exactly. It's linked to all kinds of health problems. And the ebook says that before this research, exercise was pretty much the only known way to get rid of that stubborn fat.
So these baby apple skins might hold the key to tackling belly fat.
That's what the research suggests. And since then, some people have started taking apple polyphenol supplements and have reported some pretty amazing weight loss, including belly fat loss.
Wow.
The ebook says these apple polyphenols are natural and safe, and some people have experienced, like, effortless weight loss and increased muscle strength. It can make it easier to get into and stay in ketosis too. And this is where those ketone strips come in handy again. You can actually track your progress and see if those apple polyphenols or any other changes you're making are really helping you burn fat.
That's a great reminder. Test, don't guess.
Exactly. The ebook even gives a website, www.applepoly.com, if you're interested in learning more about apple polyphenols.
Well, this has been a whirlwind tour of fat-burning secrets. So much good information in this ebook.
Absolutely. We covered a lot of ground.
So for our listeners, let's quickly recap what we've learned today.
We started with those ketone test strips, your direct line to knowing if you're burning fat. We talked about the fat tooth and how those cravings might actually be your body asking for healthy fats. And we learned about the power of eating more often, the right foods, of course, to keep those fat-burning fires stoked.
We explored the importance of pure water for weight loss, the fact that our food isn't as nutritious as it used to be, and how getting enough calcium can help prevent your body from storing fat. We even discussed 5-HTP for those carb cravings and that little bit of dark chocolate you can enjoy now and then.
And of course, we went through those lists of foods to avoid and those awesome ketogenic fat-burning foods to embrace. But remember, like the ebook says, slow and steady wins the race. Don't try to change everything at once. Listen to your body.
So what's our call to action for listeners today?
Get yourself some ketone test strips. They're like a window into your metabolism. Look back at all the secrets we've discussed and pick one or two that speak to you. Start experimenting. Use those test strips to see what's working for your body.
It's all about personalization, figuring out what works best for you.
As you get the hang of it, you can add more tips, maybe try some supplements like calcium or 5-HTP, but always keep tracking with those ketone strips and pay attention to how you feel. Everyone's different.
And a very important reminder, before starting any new diet or exercise plan or taking any supplements, talk to your doctor. They can give you personalized advice based on your specific needs.
One last thought for you to chew on. The best way to reach your health goals isn't just about following some generic diet rules. It's about getting to know your own body, understanding how it works, and becoming your own health detective.
Love that. Get curious about your body, experiment, and find what truly works for you.